What's up, everybody? It's 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I'm out here about to hop in the car and head out to my favorite comic book shop, A1 Comics, for one of their fat sales. Why don't you come along with me?
Hey everybody, we're back. So I had the best time yesterday. It was a beautiful sunny day, and I spent almost the entire day up there in Sacramento and Roseville at two of their three locations. It was one of their standard sales where anything of $10 and under in their back issue bins is half off. And everything else in the store is 20% off. So that includes new comics and games and toys and supplies. So that's where I'll buy my supplies. If I can hold out, 20% off is pretty good. And sometimes I'll miss things on the rack at my local comic shop, and I'll get them for 20% off there because they do carry about 3 or 4 months deep on all their new comics on the rack, which is really, really nice. So I've got everything here. I've got it all rebagged because I'm a little bit of a crazy person. I don't like grimy bags. Everything's rebagged, rebordered if necessary, and I've got it already in my database. And let you know, this stuff is all from my personal collection. Like, I do spec a little bit, but I haven't in quite a little bit in a while now. Buy collections and try and break them up and sell them online and stuff like that. But right now, this is all for my personal collection and stuff that I'm going to read for the most part. So let's take a look. So the first thing I got here is I got a little binfluenced, as I like to say on Twitter. Some of the people I follow were really talking up this series called Gotham City Year One by Tom King and Phil Hester. So I had picked up number 1 at my local comic shop, and I really, really enjoyed it. I started Slam Bradley, who you might have remember from Ed Brubaker's Catwoman series. I really, really enjoyed that. So the first issue really got me hooked. So I was able to find issues 2, issues 3, and 4, all of the right cover that I like, for 20% off on their new comic rack. So this was great. Cannot wait to read these. I'm probably going to read these tonight after a long day of football. One of my little side quests I have right now is I am trying to find all the Marvel works by the Image founders before they left to go found Image. So the first thing I look for is the Todd McFarlane Marvel Tales covers. Those are getting harder and harder to find because I think more and more people are getting hip to they're very cool and learning about them. So I couldn't find any there that I needed. I have about half of them, but I did find something very, very cool. I found what I think is the only 8 issues of Jim Lee's Alpha Flight. So I found the first issue, which is very cool. That's issue number 51. And then I found all the rest right here. So these are very, very cool. Let you take a peek inside and you can kind of see. Like, I just read the series called Infinity Inc. It's a DC series from the mid-'80s that had Todd McFarlane as an artist on it for quite a little run. And it's kind of fun to watch some of those legendary guys, their art progress. And they start off not so great, but then gradually, month after month, you can see them grow and turn into their fully realized form that we all recognize and love. And I'm looking forward to reading these Jim Lees because I think something similar might happen because I took a peek at the first issue. And while it's not recognizable quite as Jim Lee, you can tell there's something special there. I'm also getting a little bit more into the younger generation's love of cool covers. I still like to read my comics and look inside, but I'm a sucker for a cool cover. Because as you can see, my whole room, this is the Doug Cave. The whole Doug Cave, every square inch of the walls is covered with some kind of poster or a comic or record or something. And so I'm appreciating just cool covers more and more just to display in my room. So I found a couple cool books here that are probably going to be displayed pretty soon. So these are a couple of Conan covers by Art Adams. If you're not familiar with Art Adams, he's pretty famous for his Long Shot miniseries from the 80s, as well as he did a storyline in Uncanny X-Men and New Mutants with the Asgardians. It was in a couple of different issues, which was very, very cool. But he's in a million other things after that too. But these Conan covers were very, very cool. This one is very cool, and here's a little kind of a cheesecakey one that's also pretty neat itself. But these were like $4 and $2, so I could not pass these up. Had to get these. Those are cool. Those are going up on the wall very, very soon. Another thing that I'm kind of into right now, as a kid, I could not pass up an issue of Gru if it was on the rack. I loved Gru. So I'm whittling away on his earlier appearances before he was an epic. So I finally picked up a #1. I got this for like $4, so I was very surprised. The price is right, and it's in pretty good shape. So I was really excited. I'm down to one issue of the Pacific now to have all the Grus up to like the epic #25. And the Destroyer Duck, I got that one a while back. So that's pretty cool. That's his first appearance. My biggest collection thing I'm working on is a complete run of Marvel comics from the Bronze Age, beginning of the Bronze Age, which is I consider Conan #1, all the way through the end of Jim Shooter's reign. So I have all of the regular superhero comics. I'm just working on reprint stuff, like the Wars and some of the Western stuff, and some of the horror reprints from the 70s. And one thing that totally slipped through my radar, and I just recently discovered it, is these Human Torch comics. So it's a very, very short series, and I have almost all of them now, and I picked up these two here. I'm down to like 1 or 2 left. But these were cool. These were in decent shape. There was a couple ones that had that were rough. I passed on them. For Bronze Age, I don't want anything that's got like a bunch of spindings or wrinkles or water damage or anything like that. So these are in pretty nice shape. So I picked these suckers up. I was pretty happy with these. I think I paid like $3 and yeah, $3 a piece for those. So that's not bad. That's pretty cool. As a child of the 70s, you know, I was a little late to it, but I still really, really dig the Planet of the Apes. So I have all the Planet of the Apes Marvel comics, but now I'm working on the magazines. I just started on the magazines. So I picked this one up. This was only $2. I got to find a frame for this one. I'm going to put this one on the wall very, very soon. I really, really like this cover. It's very cool. A lot of these Planet of the Apes covers are really dope. If you're just into cool covers, you like to display stuff, if you're into the 70s, these Planet of the Apes covers are very, very cool. I really love them. So a lot of things I did buy were to read. So I just finished reading Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman recently from 2004, and I loved it. I haven't really read a lot of Wonder Woman, but I've read a lot of Greg Rucka. And one of the series that I had started to read and I had kind of fallen off of, and just said, you know what, I'll just pick those up in back issues at A1 because I can get them for half price. It's kind of my MO there. You know, their sales are so good. If there's a series that I quite don't feel comfortable spending $4 or $5 a month on, and I like it, but I can live with it till if I can wait to read this a little bit later, I'll wait to snag them for half price. Well, I had a series, a lot of them, of Greg Rucka's Lazarus. And if you've never read Lazarus, it's very cool. It's a little depressing because sometimes you read it and you're like, oh, this is where the world is going, right? Corporations are going to rule everything and we're just going to be their slaves. It's kind of what it's about, but it's deeper than that. It's very, very cool. So I needed issue 16, which I got. I got issue 16 here. And I also picked up all the rest that completes this volume. So all the way up through issue 28. So I needed 16 and then this one forward. So I got them all for half price. So I only paid $2 for these. See, if we get them on the rack, they're $4. If I just wait a while, I get them for half price and get twice as many comics for my dollars. So now I have this whole series and I'm really, really excited about this. This is going to go on the spinner rack and that's my to read pile. And they're going to get read very soon as I finish up my Alan Moore Captain Britons. I am trying to collect all these Marvel Tales. So I'm down to only 2 Marvel Tales now, up until the end of Jim Shooter. This one I've been missing for a very, very long time. I don't know why it's so hard to find, but maybe because it's a black cover, hard to find in pretty decent condition. But I picked that one up, which I'm very, very excited. So knocking off those Marvel Tales. And then this is something that I'm probably most excited about because I want to read it. I've been looking for these for a very long time. I follow writers a lot, you know, not necessarily a character for me. I kind of follow writers. So I was able to pick up, I've been looking for this book forever because I really like Rick Remender. I don't know if you're familiar with anything Rick Remender's written, but his Fear Agent is one of my all-time favorite series. He often works with Tony Moore and Jerome Opeña, who to me are some of the best artists working today. And he kind of works with them as a team together and they alternate arcs a lot. His work on Uncanny Avengers was amazing and I highly recommend it. And I'm not a big Punisher guy. The only Punisher I've really ever read was the Garth Ennis Punisher. because I love Garth Ennis. But I've always been looking for Rick Remender's Punisher series. So I found all but 5 issues of this run he did here during the Dark Reign era. So it went to issue 21. It's a second print, which I can live with because I just really want to read them, right? My crazy brain is going to make me search down a first print eventually, but in the meantime, I can read it. So I got all these issues, except I don't have the first appearance of the Frankencastle, and that's okay. So I need 5 more. So this is kind of what I do when I find a series that I know I really want to read. I missed the boat on it as a monthly series. I'll try and wait for A1 to get them half price. And if I can snag the majority of them, if not all of them, then I'm down to 5. So I'll hit up some of my honey holes online for those remaining 5. I like to try to find things in the wild. It's funner for me. It gives me something to do on the weekends. But if I can knock it down to like 5 like I did here, I'll check out, while I'm reading something else, I'll put these on the back burner, and I'll try and find those 5 remaining issues in my honey hole, and then it's time to read them. So I'm very excited about that. I love Remender, Tony Moore, Jerome Pena. This is going to be great. Frankencastle seems interesting to me. You know, I like when these characters, you know, they do some kind of fun with them and outside the box. So that was really cool. Speaking of outside the box, I generally just am a comic guy. I'm not like a Funko head. I don't really like action figures. You know, just nothing against it, but I just don't really have room for all that kind of stuff. And I like to display things. I don't just want to put things generally in a box, and action figures kind of just going in a box doesn't really do it for me. But I do display some of my vintage action figures. Like I have Secret Wars, stuff like that. I have old starting lineup baseball guys. But now I'm starting to display my original G.I. Joes. So they actually, and I'm whittling down on those. I'm trying to get through 82 through 87 of the original G.I. Joes. But they had a Major Blood for only $15, and he's mint. His joints are tight. His paint is amazing. I think it comes with a gun, but it didn't come with a gun or the card, which I don't care because I'm just going to display him anyway. But I can get a gun through one of the accessory packs. It's fine. But dude, $15. Major Blood's always kind of hard to find, so I couldn't pass up the Major Blood. Had to get the Major Blood. That's about the ones I think I'm gonna. They're there next time. I'm gonna scoop them all up. I think a nice beachhead, and they had a good dock with the, you know, the ricket you carry people on. It was very cool. A couple more comments to go through. I'm a big Alan Moore fan. I've been reading a lot of Alan Moore lately. So I'm trying to get into British comics as well. They're hard to get around here in America. But one of the things I was researching was he wrote some issues of Star Wars in the UK. And I found that these classic Star Wars Devil Worlds, there's a 2-issue miniseries here that contains the reprints of Alan Moore's UK Star Wars story. So I got both of these. I found them. I've never even looked for them before. I just found out about these the other day. So I said, let me look for those. I actually found them both, which is very cool. And I only paid like $2 each for these. So very exciting for them. I can't wait to read those. I did get one thing which makes me very, very happy too. I like to say I have a complete run of Uncanny X-Men from number 1, you know, First Prince of Xavier and Magneto and all that, up to current, except for one issue. It's one of these issues that was written during a period where I thought it was terrible, so I stopped buying it. And then I picked them up on A1 back issue sales. There's one that's eluded me for a few years now, and I finally found it. It's this weird issue right here, number 12. I've been looking for it forever since it came out, and I finally snagged it. So now I do have a complete run from number 1 to the most recent issue, because Uncanny's my all-time favorite series. When it's done right, it's the best comic. When it's done bad, it really depresses me, hurts my heart. And I picked up one last thing. I'm trying to complete my Marvel run back to the beginning, you know, of Fantastic Four, Amazing. Those are hard to get, but I'm just whittling my way back on right now on some of the side titles, not A titles, right? So Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish, Strange Tales. Those are the ones I'm working on. I need about 10 of each of those to go back to the beginning of the Marvel era, you know. So I was able to find one yesterday, which I'm very excited about. So I did. I got Tales of Suspense 61. This is kind of the grade I'm okay with on my Silver Age stuff. I don't need super high end, but I don't want stuff that's got rips and tears and, you know, looks like somebody's dog chewed the spine. This is an okay grade on this one. This was under $30, so I was very happy with it. All the issues I need are earlier, so I got the right at the end of the ones I need. So I was excited about that. It's nice to get something out of the vault once in a while. So that was my haul. I had a fun time. I got some great books. I got some great stuff to put in my collection. I got some great stuff to read. So that makes a perfect day in my book. Anyway, see you guys next time.